Are you real? That's what a dying child asked Muhammad Ali in 1975. Ali was at the peak of his fame. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. He could have been anywhere, on TV shows, at fancy parties, making millions. But he was in a children's cancer ward. And this one question from a 7-year-old boy would change how the world saw greatness forever. This is the story of the day Muhammad Ali discovered what it truly means to be a champion. Muhammad Ali is on top of the world. He has just defeated Joe Frazier in the Thrilla in Manila. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion. His face is on every magazine cover. His name is in every headline. He is making more money than any athlete in history. The world sees Ali as larger than life. He walks into rooms and everything stops. Reporters follow his every move. Photographers fight for the perfect shot. He is not just a boxer. He is a global phenomenon. But there's something the world doesn't know about Muhammad Ali. Something the cameras never capture. Something the newspapers never report. Between the fights, between the interviews, between the photo shoots, he disappears. Not to vacation spots or luxury hotels. Not to exclusive parties or celebrity events. He goes to hospitals. Children's hospitals. He doesn't bring cameras. He doesn't bring reporters. He doesn't bring his entourage. He just shows up, unannounced, and asks the nurses, "Where are the kids who need a friend?" This has been going on for years. Ali has visited over 50 hospitals during his career. He has spent more than 1,000 hours with sick children. Most of the world has no idea. He never talks about it in interviews. He never uses it for publicity. It's just something he does. On this particular Tuesday in October, Ali walks into St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. The nurses at the front desk look up and flees. They weren't expecting him. There are no scheduled photo ops, no publicity events, no media circus. Just Ali, wearing a simple tracksuit, carrying a small bag of gifts he bought at a toy store on the way over. "I'm here to see the kids," he says quietly. "The ones who could use some company." The head nurse, a woman named Margaret, who has worked at St. Jude for 15 years, can barely speak. She's seen celebrities come and go, usually with cameras and carefully orchestrated visits. But this is different. This is real. "Room 201 has Sarah," she says, finding her voice. "She's 8. She loves to draw. Room 215 has Michael. He's been here for 3 months. And room 237. She pauses. "Room 237 has Tommy. He's 7. He's been here the longest." Ali nods. "I'll start with Sarah," and work my way down. Ali walks through the halls of St. Jude, stopping at every room. He talks to children who are bald from chemotherapy. He holds hands with kids who are too weak to sit up. He tells jokes to children who haven't smiled in months. In room 201, he meets Sarah, who shows him her drawings. "They're pictures of angels," she explains, "because that's where her friend Jenny went last week." Ali sits with her for 20 minutes, helping her color a new picture. This one is of a boxer with wings. In room 215, he finds Michael, who is obsessed with baseball. Ali doesn't know much about baseball, but he listens as Michael explains every statistic about the St. Louis Cardinals. Ali promises to get him a signed baseball from the team. Room after room, Ali brings light into dark places. He brings hope into hopeless situations. He brings the outside world into a place where children are trapped by their own bodies. But then he reaches room 237. The door is slightly ajar. Ali knocks gently and pushes it open. The room is dimmer than the others. There's only one bed, and in it lies the smallest child Ollie has seen all day. Tommy is 7 years old, but he looks 5. He has leukemia. He weighs 30 pounds. He should weigh 50. His parents have been told he has 3 weeks to live, maybe less. The doctors have done everything they can. Now, it's just a matter of time. Tommy is lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. He's been in this room for 6 months. He's watched other children come and go. Some get better and go home with balloons and smiles. Some don't. Tommy knows which category he's in. Ollie walks into the room quietly. He doesn't want to startle the boy. He sits down in the small plastic chair next to Tommy's bed. It's a child-sized chair, and Ollie's large frame looks almost comical in it. But he doesn't seem to notice or care. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Ollie just sits there, looking at this tiny warrior who is fighting the biggest battle of all. Tommy turns his head slowly. His movements are careful, deliberate. Everything takes effort when you're this sick. He looks at this big man sitting next to him. He's seen him on TV. He knows who he is. But Tommy has been in the hospital so long, reality and dreams have started to blur together. Tommy studies Ollie's face for a long moment. He sees the scars above his eyes from years of boxing. He sees the gentle expression that the cameras rarely capture. He sees something real in a world that has become increasingly unreal. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, Tommy asks the question that will change everything. Are you real? The question hits Ollie like a punch he never saw coming. He has been asked thousands of questions in his career. Reporters have asked him about his fights, his politics, his religion, his future. But no one has ever asked him this. Are you real? It's such a simple question, but in that moment, Ollie realizes that this little boy is asking something much deeper. He's not just asking if Ollie is physically there. He's asking if heroes are real, if hope is real, if there's anything in this world worth believing in when you're 7 years old and dying. Ali looks at this dying child, and for the first time in his life, he doesn't have a quick answer. He doesn't have a clever comeback. He doesn't have a rhyme or a boast or a prediction. He just has the truth. Ali reaches out and takes Tommy's tiny hand in his massive one. The contrast is startling. Ali's hand is scarred and calloused from years of hitting heavy bags and absorbing punishment. Tommy's hand is soft and fragile, with veins visible through translucent skin. Ali looks directly into Tommy's eyes and says, "I'm as real as your courage, Tommy. I'm as real as your fight. And if you can be brave enough to fight what you're fighting, then I can be real enough to sit here with you." Tommy's eyes fill with tears. Not sad tears, something else. Hope, maybe, or recognition. Like he's seeing something he thought was lost forever. Ali continues, his voice soft but strong. "You know what, Tommy? I fight big, strong men in the ring. Men who train for months to try to hurt me. But you're fighting something I could never fight. You're fighting something invisible, something that doesn't play by any rules. You're braver than I'll ever be." Tommy squeezes Ollie's hand with what little strength he has. It's barely perceptible, but Ollie feels it. "Will you stay with me for a while?" Tommy asks. "As long as you want me to," Ollie says without hesitation. And he does. Ollie stays in that room for 4 hours. He doesn't leave for dinner. He doesn't leave for phone calls. He doesn't leave for meetings or interviews or any of the 1,000 things that usually demand his attention. He stays. They talk about everything except cancer. They talk about baseball, even though Ali doesn't know much about it. They talk about cartoons. Tommy loves Scooby-Doo, and Ollie does his best impression of the cowardly dog, making Tommy laugh for the first time in weeks. Ollie tells Tommy stories about his fights, but not the violent parts. He tells him about the funny things that happened. The time he got so nervous before a big fight that he forgot to put in his mouthpiece. The time he slipped getting into the ring and nearly fell on his face. The time he was so confident he would win that he wrote a poem about it, only to have his opponent knock him down in the first round. "Did you get back up?" Tommy asks. "Every time," Ollie says. "Just like you do every morning when you wake up in this bed. Just like you do every time the doctors come in with their needles and their tests. You get back up, Tommy. That makes you a fighter. That makes you a champion." Tommy smiles. It's a real smile, not the polite one he gives to doctors and nurses. It's the smile of a child who remembers what it feels like to be a child. As the afternoon turns to evening, Tommy begins to get tired. The medicine makes him sleepy, and the conversation has been the most energy he's expended in days. But he doesn't want Ollie to leave. "Will you be here when I wake up?" Tommy asks. Ollie looks at this brave little boy and makes a decision. "I can't promise I'll be here in person, Tommy, but I promise you this. Every time you need to, remember that heroes are real. Every time you need to remember that someone believes in you, you think of today. You think of this conversation, and you'll know that somewhere in the world, Muhammad Ali is thinking about Tommy, the bravest fighter he ever met." Tommy nods and closes his eyes. Within minutes, he's asleep, still holding Ali's hand. Ali sits there for another hour, just watching this little warrior sleep. He thinks about all the fights he's won, all the championships he's claimed, all the glory he's achieved. None of it compares to this moment. None of it feels as important as being real for a dying child. When Ali finally gets up to leave, he's careful not to wake Tommy. He writes something on a piece of paper and leaves it on Tommy's nightstand, where he'll see it when he wakes up. The next morning, Tommy wakes up and finds the note. In Ali's distinctive handwriting, it says, "Tommy, you are the real champion. You fight every day just to breathe. That makes you tougher than any man I've ever faced. Keep fighting, little champ. The world needs heroes like you. Your friend always, Muhammad Ali." Tommy reads the note 3 times. Then he folds it carefully and puts it under his pillow. It becomes his most treasured possession. 3 weeks pass. Tommy is still alive. The doctors are surprised. They expected him to be gone by now. But Tommy is fighting harder than ever. He reads Ali's note every morning when he wakes up, and every night before he goes to sleep. 3 months pass. Tommy's condition begins to stabilize. The doctors use words like unexpected and remarkable. Tommy uses different words. He tells everyone who will listen about the day Muhammad Ali sat with him and proved that heroes are real. 6 months pass. Tommy's cancer goes into remission. The doctors call it a miracle. Tommy calls it something else. He calls it the day he learned that believing in something bigger than yourself can give you strength you didn't know you had. Tommy grows up. He beats cancer completely. He goes to college. He becomes a doctor. He specializes in pediatric oncology. He spends his life taking care of children with cancer, just like the doctors who took care of him. And in every room, with every young patient, he tells the same story. He tells them about the day Muhammad Ali sat with a dying boy and proved that heroes are real. He shows them the note, now yellowed with age and worn from handling. And he tells them what Ali told him. You are the real champions. This story changed how the world saw Muhammad Ali. Before this, people knew him as a great boxer, a great talker, a great entertainer. He was famous for his speed, his power, his ability to predict the round in which he would win. But after stories like this began to surface, because Tommy told everyone who would listen, and other children from other hospitals began sharing their own stories, people realized that Ali's greatest victories had nothing to do with boxing. Ali visited over 50 hospitals during his career. He spent more than 1,000 hours with sick children. He never asked for cameras. He never asked for credit. He never used these visits for publicity. He just showed up, again and again, proving that heroes are real. He transformed from being just a champion in the ring to being a champion of the human spirit. He proved that true greatness isn't about how many people cheer for you. It's about how many people you give a reason to cheer for themselves. The world began to understand that Muhammad Ali wasn't just fast with his fists. He was fast to show up when people needed him. He wasn't just powerful in the ring. He was powerful in his ability to bring hope to hopeless situations. He became more than a boxer. He became a symbol of what it means to use your platform, your fame, your influence for something bigger than yourself. So, let me ask you the same question that little Tommy asked Muhammad Ali. Are you real? Not physically real, we know you're here, but are you real in the ways that matter? Are you real to the people who need you most? Are you real to the people who can't do anything for you in return? Are you real when there are no cameras, no applause, no recognition? Muhammad Ali could have spent that Tuesday afternoon anywhere. He was the most famous man in the world. He could have been making money, gaining fame, building his brand. He could have been at a photo shoot or a business meeting or a celebrity party. Instead, he chose to sit in a plastic chair next to a dying child and prove that heroes are real. Think about that for a moment. The heavyweight champion of the world, at the peak of his career, choosing to spend 4 hours with someone who could do absolutely nothing for him in return. Someone who couldn't buy his products or promote his brand or advance his career. He did it because he understood something that most people never learn. Your true championship isn't measured by your victories over others. It's measured by your victories for others. Every day, you have a choice. You can chase fame, money, recognition. You can focus on building your own empire, advancing your own interests, promoting your own brand. Or you can choose something more valuable. You can choose to be real in someone else's life. Look around you. There's a Tommy somewhere in your world. Maybe it's not a child in a hospital. Maybe it's an elderly neighbor who never gets visitors. Maybe it's a coworker who's going through a divorce. Maybe it's a stranger who just needs someone to listen. Someone who needs to know that heroes are real. Someone who needs to know that hope is real. Someone who needs to know that they matter. You don't need to be the heavyweight champion of the world to change a life. You don't need to be famous or wealthy or powerful. You just need to be real. You need to be willing to sit in the plastic chair. You need to be willing to hold the small hand. You need to be willing to answer the question, are you real? Remember, the greatest fights are not won in rings or stadiums. They're won in hospital rooms, in quiet moments, in acts of kindness that no one will ever see. The greatest victories are not celebrated with belts or trophies. They're celebrated in the hearts of people who needed to believe that someone cared. Be real. Be present. Be the champion someone needs today. Because somewhere, in a room you may never see, someone is asking the same question Tommy asked. Are you real? Make sure your answer is yes. One story, one lesson. Stay strong. Pined.